CHFA now is Canada's largest trade show and conference dedicated to the natural, organic, and wellness industry, featuring more than 700 exhibitors and expert-led sessions on emerging industry trends. It happened in Vancouver. And for more on this, we're joined now by Skelton, President and CEO of the Canadian Health Food Association. Aaron, thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning, Roger.
All right, let's talk about the event and some of the trends that you were seeing there.
Yeah, so as you said, we just came off one of our biggest events this past weekend, and using a combination of global trend forecasting platforms and our own consumer research, we've got 5 trends that we've just released ahead of our show this past weekend. So the first one we can touch on is something we like to call health span habits, which is really where anti-inflammatory eating meets cellular health. So what we're seeing is that consumers just aren't chasing a number of candles on a cake, Roger. They're actually looking for daily products that can help them feel good and age well. And that's translating into functional foods with real science behind them. On shelf, this will look like things like food that support anti-inflammatory diets. Think of things like the Mediterranean diet, and supplements that support cellular health directly, and everyday comfort foods like chocolate with added functional ingredients. Yeah, we're also seeing things that are connecting sort of the conscious connection with consumers. I like to sum it up with the idea of, healthy earth and healthy body. Consumers are increasingly linking their personal health to the planet's health, which I think is a really important trend. They're seeking out brands with tested products that make clear sourcing and safety claims to protect both the people and the ecosystem. And we're seeing that, and you might have noticed this on shelf already, but a lot of products with QR codes that are showcasing ingredient transparency or increasing the storytelling around their ingredient testing and where they're finding their products' ingredients.
All right, so lots of things happening. I know, Colin, you want to jump in here, and you've got a couple of questions.
Yes, absolutely. So I wanted to ask a little bit more about the business side, and in particular, we were seeing a lot of news around some of the big retailers in Canada, like Loblaws and other, around pricings and margins. So I wanted to get an idea: what is are you seeing in trends in terms of the in wellness between the big retailers and what's happening with the more medium or smaller sized retailers?
Yeah, I think that's such a great question. I mean, we really are in a bit of a transition period. Consumers are always leading the trends, and the consumer demand for natural, organic, and wellness products has never been higher. And it's been really great to see some of the large retailers lean into these things. So historically, where small and medium-sized retailers would serve the majority of consumers, we're now seeing that volume hit some of the larger retailers. And we've actually got some of those guys within our membership, and it's been great to see them not only fulfilling that need to consumers, but also supporting the industry and the small businesses that it's made up of.
And how much is like the weight loss drugs and that push, how much is that driving people and driving your industry on where they're heading?
Yeah, I think we can't ignore sort of the impact of GLP-1s. And what we're seeing in our sector is that a lot of our brands are shifting to support that shift. And, it's shaping how Canadians are eating. And brands are looking to reformulate around things like protein density, muscle maintenance, gut health, nutrient optimization, really looking to offset some of the impacts of these pharmaceutical drugs. So we've seen it in protein forward foods and smaller portions to sort of meet that need, and a lot of products with fiber blends, electrolytes, hydration support, really dialing into some of the side effects of GLP-1 use.
Colin, I know you got another question, I think, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. So based on that, and from some of the things you've heard around the trading floor, and so for retailers this year, where are you seeing some of the momentum and opportunities?
Yeah, I think retailers that are looking to meet consumers where they're at are going to be the ones that are going to see success. Canadians are being a bit more skeptical these days. There's a lot of information out there, and it's hard to weed through it. And so I think brands and retailers that can show transparency, authenticity in their sourcing, providing a pathway and storytelling around how they're bringing their products to markets are the real opportunity to build back that trust with Canadians who are feeling, a little bit skeptical these days.
And just how big is the industry, and are you feeling the effects at all? There's been talk about people having to make tough choices about where their money goes. Are you noticing an impact of that, that Canadians are struggling a little, or are they still choosing healthy food and healthy options?
Yeah, I think like most industries, there's a little bit of nervousness when people are looking to make trade-offs and choices. Thankfully, what we're seeing in our research is that Canadians continue to lean in and invest in their health. Being proactive with that is a real opportunity for Canadians, and we're seeing that in sales numbers both at retail and in some of the innovation and growth that's coming from our small businesses.
And how big an industry is this right now?
Yeah, so the natural, organic, and wellness industry, we've clocked at about $28 billion, which is a really strong piece of the Canadian economy. We employ over 150,000 full-time employees across the country in different roles, from the suppliers, distributors, and retail floors. So it's really not a niche industry anymore, which is great to see, and really a strong engine for the Canadian economy moving forward.
All right, Colin, do you want to get one last question in?
Yeah. So, what would you tell Canadian brands and retailers and Canadians about where things are heading going forward into the future?
Yeah, I think what they're going to see is a lot more customization, a lot more personalization in products, and meeting need states, which I think is really exciting. We're just at the tip of the iceberg in terms of what technology can do to support that. And so I think for Canadians, you're going to see a lot more brands that are sort of showcasing their products in a really clear, science-based, transparent way. And retailers are partnering with those brands. And so you'll see much more on the retail shelves in the coming years.
All right, I just have to ask one last question. What kind of an impact is AI having? Because we talk about AI. Is it having an impact in this industry as well?
Of course it is. Yeah, I think all the way from suppliers and formulations, but all the way through to how we connect with consumers. People are Googling things, but they're also using AI platforms to do their own sort of research. And so brands that can understand the limitations of AI, how Canadians are looking at it in terms of trust and authenticity, are going to be the ones that'll see success.
Okay, Aaron, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Aaron Skelton is President and CEO of the Canadian Health Food Association.